What is up, posse? My name is Will Ronlick, and welcome to another episode of Movie Junkyard. Let me ask you guys something. Do you guys like Tom and Jerry? Do you guys like Willy Wonka? Do you want to see a movie with them meshed together? No? Well, guess what? We got it anyways. Now, I've seen snippets of this movie, and I've seen it be on sale at Walmart. And my first question is, why? As is many other people's, I'm sure of it. Now, granted, both have a special place in my heart. I absolutely love the original Willy Wonka. It's absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time. And Tom and Jerry also has a special place in my heart. I would watch the cartoons quite a bit, and I admit I do still watch some of their cartoons to this day. But out of all the crossovers, because apparently this has some sort of a history, because you have Tom and Jerry and Willy Wonka, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz, Tom and Jerry and Sherlock Holmes, Robin Hood, you name it, all these classic stories, they just throw Tom and Jerry into it. It's almost the exact same movie, that's just Tom and Jerry in the background, and sometimes there'll be some slapstick. Now, granted, the slapstick is pretty good for the most part. However, when it came time for the big musical numbers, it kind of threw you out of the moment. Especially the pure imagination scene. There was slapstick almost left and right. It just showed the entire chocolate room scene. It's just Tom and Jerry and Tuffy as an Oompa Loompa intern in the background, which I feel like completely ruined the mood. Because I feel like the pure imagination scene is supposed to be such an emotional scene with Gene Wilder singing, and this amazing scene of seeing all this edible stuff in this ginormous room. Like, the Wonka factory looks like a place you'd actually want to visit if you have a huge sweet tooth. And the budget, in terms of animation, it wasn't that bad. But apparently there will be times where a character would make like a face and it just looks so weird and creepy. It was it was pretty bothersome, but it was also kind of funny at times. But let's talk about arguably my favorite scene in the whole movie. In both, well, I guess it's a favorite of mine in the original, but also in this one, and that's the infamous tunnel scene. Now, for those who have seen the original Willy Wonka, you know pretty much what I'm talking about. There's no earthly way of knowing where we're rowing. You know the rest. Instead, you have Tuffy the Mouse doing this with Tom and Jerry, and it is so insane that I kind of love it, honestly. And for making Slugworth seem like he's actually a villain when really he isn't, that doesn't really add up a whole lot. Like, his motives make almost no sense in this movie. And what's even more amazing, or not in a good way, it's just that they actually give him Veruca's Salt song, which is I Want It Now. And then they do it again later in the movie, and it still doesn't work. But just overall, it's pretty bad. Like, I'm not gonna say this was a complete waste of time. Like, this movie's only an hour and 15 minutes, but yet it feels like it goes on for a little while. It had some entertaining stuff, I will admit. Like, the slapstick was good when the mood was appropriate, is what I'm trying to add in. It had some decent animation, and the tunnel scene, again, was a lot of fun. But other than that, this was just a thing that wasn't really needed to be made. Kind of like the Tom and Jerry movie that came out this year. So I guess that's just about does it for this episode of Movie Junkyard. If you did enjoy this video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more content. Next week, Jessup and I will be reviewing Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz. And Jessup, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you are, I think you'll get a good kick out of this one. So, until next time, see you later, posse.